Have you ever heard of the Big Bang Theory? Of course you have. But who do you picture when you think of it? Most people would say Albert Einstein. After all, his theory of general relativity laid the groundwork for our entire modern understanding of the cosmos. But what if I told you that Einstein himself initially rejected the very idea of an expanding universe? And the person who convinced him otherwise wasn't another famous physicist, but a Belgian priest and astronomer named Georges Lemaître. This is the incredible story of the man who dared to challenge a genius and forever changed our view of the universe. In the early 20th century, the scientific consensus, even held by Einstein, was that the universe was static and eternal. It had always existed and always would, in a more or less stable state. Einstein's equations of general relativity, however, didn't quite fit this picture. His math suggested that the universe should either be expanding or contracting. To fix this problem, Einstein introduced what he called the cosmological constant, a kind of cosmic anti-gravity force to keep the universe perfectly balanced and static. He later called this the biggest blunder of his life. Enter Georges Lemaître. By the 1920s, Lemaitre was both an ordained Catholic priest and a brilliant physicist, studying at Cambridge and MIT. He had a deep understanding of Einstein's relativity. While working with the equations, he didn't try to force them to fit the static universe model. Instead, he let the math speak for itself. In 1927, Lemaitre published a groundbreaking paper. He proposed that the universe was not static at all, but was in fact expanding. He theorized that the galaxies we see moving away from us are not just drifting through space, but that space itself is stretching, carrying the galaxies along with it. To support his idea, he used existing astronomical data from observers like Vesto Slipher, which showed that distant galaxies appeared to be moving away from us. Lemaitre even calculated the rate of this expansion, a value we now know as the Hubble constant. Yes, you heard that right. Lemaitre described what would later be called Hubble's Law 2 years before. Edwin Hubble published his own more famous paper on the topic. Unfortunately, Lemaitre published his work in a lesser-known Belgian journal, so it went largely unnoticed by the wider scientific community. The pivotal moment came in 1927 at the Solvay conference in Brussels, a gathering of the world's top physicists. Lemaitre approached the great Albert Einstein to discuss his theory of an expanding universe. Einstein's reaction was dismissive. He reportedly told Lemaitre, "Your calculations are correct, but your physics is abominable." For Einstein, the idea of a universe with a beginning was philosophically unappealing and felt too much like religious creationism. He was committed to his elegant, eternal, and static cosmos. But science isn't about what we find appealing. It's about evidence. And the evidence was mounting. In 1929, the American astronomer Edwin Hubble published his observations showing a clear relationship. The farther away a galaxy is, the faster it is moving away from us. This was the exact phenomenon Lemaitre's theory had predicted. The universe was undeniably expanding. Faced with this new, compelling evidence, Einstein had to reconsider. In 1931, he and Lemaitre met again in California. This time, after attending a series of lectures by Lemaitre, Einstein publicly declared his change of heart. He announced that Lemaitre's theory was the most beautiful and satisfactory explanation of creation he had ever heard. It was a remarkable moment of intellectual humility from one of history's greatest minds. Lemaitre took his idea one step further. If the universe is expanding now, he reasoned, then in the past it must have been smaller, denser, and hotter. If you run the clock backward far enough, everything must have been compressed into a single, infinitesimally small point. He called this initial state the primeval atom or the cosmic egg. This was the very first scientific description of what we now call the Big Bang. It's a story that reminds us that science is a journey of discovery, not a fixed set of facts. Even a genius like Einstein could be wrong, and it took the courage and insight of a lesser-known priest scientist to point the way forward. So the next time you look up at the night sky and ponder the vastness of the universe, remember Georges Lemaître, the man who gave us the beginning. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into scientific history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the world of science. See you next time.